Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office teardown lab. You can see it's nice and soft here, that's because we don't want to scratch this up, but this is a Bose 321 GSX Mark III. It's the one with the HDMI, and you can see it's missing a door, and that's by design because it's got a non-standard DVD drive in it, because I had a problem with the original one, which is this one. You can tell it's the original one because it's got this wedge shape. So I swapped standard PC drive in there. But now I want to swap the other one back. So I'm going to show you while I'm at it how to work on these, because initially it wasn't so obvious, but I've been inside, unfortunately, there's a few times, so I've learned a few tricks. So the first thing is get these 6 screws off the bottom and make sure you get the right bit. If you find it slipping, just swap it around. Try find a bigger one, smaller one, Phillips posi drive, I'm not quite sure, but you can see there it's got quite a large bit in the middle, which is a bit unusual, so it just throws you off a touch. But you'll get it off, it's not a problem. In fact, you can see how quickly we're whacking through these. So yeah, I have grazed my knuckles a few times on these trying to figure out how to do it. And this one has maybe a little bit, a couple of plastic tabs broken, but yours won't, because I'm going to show you exactly what to do. So start working on the lids. You can just see it starting to come off. If it doesn't want to come off at the front, you can just clip this forward. See that? I just pull that forward to reveal this part. Don't pull it any more than that. And then you'll see that will pop straight up like that, like an old Xbox, if you're working on an old Xbox. And then the next thing you'll want to do, trust me on this, is to remove these ribbon connectors here and just hold them by the little blue tab there. In fact, hold through right to the blue tab, just pinch it, pinch and pull, pinch and pull, pinch and a pull, and they'll all pop out just like that. So you've got your FM board here, lift that, and you can work it out forward, and that just goes to the side. And then where's the next step? Oh yes, the next step for you is to turn it on its bottom like this, and you can see these little indentations here. If you can get something flat in there, he says, desperately trying to find something, there you go, you'll be able to lever that off the clip. You can see that there just starting to come off the front. Let's put it back on that way, and then I'm just going to put my fingers under the lip here and pull the same, and that will release this mechanism. Okay, I've got one more clip on it. There. Now you did notice, of course, I pulled that off, but I didn't show you how to remove this part. Well, I can on the original drive here. This part actually just slides up, so you ideally want to do it with the drive open, because you'll want to just slide this thing off like that, and then you can take that aside. Don't break it though, because it's probably going to be quite annoying to replace. So what next? Okay, undo this power connector here, undo this ID ribbon here, and that should be enough to let you release the chassis. So I'm going to hold this plastic chassis. You can see that there, starting to come up. Now, work it a little bit, because you've got to be careful. There are capacitors and things in there that you can hit. I will show you. In fact, there's another step. You can get it out like that, but if you want to avoid all damage, we've already removed the ribbon connectors. We've already removed the front fascia. Just keep going. There's 3 more screws, these small screws here. 1 and 2 and 3, and you can't miss them. I know I could turn this up to show you, but actually I'll show you on this. Look, here you go. 1, 2, 3. There's your compact fluorescent display, which is quite groovy really. Don't see those anymore. Now you've really got no opportunity to screw this up, because this will just go straight up, and that's probably the safest way. I mean, like I said, I have got it out that way before, but you really risk damaging this quite tall capacitor there. So I'm just going to put that aside for the moment, because I just want to show you this extra bit while we're in here. So if you have an error on your screen that says 808 contact Bose, something like that, it means this hard disk's packed up. And what it is, it's a standard 40 gigabyte Fujitsu IDE drive. And I think there's a pretty good chance that if you just have one of these in your machine now that's not dead, I mean, I should do this, I should make a clone of this, because I think you could probably just clone in another 40 gigs or maybe even a bigger drive. So one of the main reasons I think you've got a high chance of that is because in this particular unit it was playing up. The drive was playing up. So I wanted to experiment, and I actually replaced the standard optical drive with this PC DVD drive, and again standard PC one, and it worked. And I'm just trying to get this Molex out. You don't actually have to get that out right now. In fact, let's not. And what was really bizarre about this, not only did it work, but it recognized the different states. So when you push the eject button, it was actually detecting that eject on the user interface of the actual HIFI unit itself. So it clearly knows when the door's being opened and shut. And there's the additional strangeness of having its own LED on the front that flashes, which I think they've omitted on their own design. So it's good to know that a standard PC part will work if you happen to still have one, because I know that a lot of people have thrown these out. There was another cute thing about this, and I think I'll be able to show you this. Let me get this Molex out. Right, there we go. So that's the PC drive, and you can tell it's a standard PC drive because if I can get this open, I actually have the, let's see, how does it go? Is that how you do it? Yes. There we go. And let that there. I have the little bit of the fascia that goes on it, which we can put back on. It just clips in. And I have this bit here, which, you know, says DVD, RW and all those usual things. And that clips straight on the front. So there you've got standard PC drive. And I'll compare that to this one. You can see it's a bit annoying actually, because this one's a little bit longer and it's a bit tighter in the case. So the one on the left did work, so that's a Sony NEC OptiArc, and the one on the right, I don't know, it's just got Bose written on it. But if you're interested, I will zoom in here. That's what these say. If you can find a replacement, great. If not, we'll have to make do. So let's pop this back in here now. So that goes a bit snugger in this chassis. And when you're doing the screws, you'll notice they actually are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can't go wrong. Just wallop them back in. And everything is pretty much the reverse. You noticed that there are very few internal screws on this. The bits you just really have to take care of are those ribbon cables. And if you take the front fascia off totally like I showed you, you can't really go too far wrong. I guess one of the problems you'll have though is if your drive is shut. So try to open the drive, because I'm not sure how you'll get that piece of plastic off there. I mean, chances are you can force it and it may break, or you know, may not if you're lucky. Before you go any further, plug these in because they're a bit of a nightmare to get in afterwards. As you can see, this drive goes right back. Makes you wonder though what's in this drive versus the other drive. I think they probably just perfected them. It's probably quite an old drive really. I mean, it's got a date on it of 2001, believe it or not. I can't believe that. 2001? No. 2008. Manufactured 2008. It's made to the standards of something of 2001. Right, let's drop this back into place. Again, watch those capacitors. Okay, look, it's nicely seat. And if you forget to do these cables up and put it all back together, you'll be kicking yourself. So make sure you do. Ask me how I know. What next? Right, I would suggest we do the front face. Now the drive is open, as you can tell here. So that does allow me to slide it over and make sure there's nothing getting caught. Make sure the ribbons are flopping over the front. And there's no real clips on this at all. It's just really held in by the screws. So it's fairly well floating. There's your one. I'm going to do the other outer edge first. Although really you should do the middle, but they're quite precisely engineered. It'll all line up nicely. And I'm actually just going to leave the plastic trim for now, this bit. I don't think there's any advantage. I mean, I have done it with that on there in the past. Now I will zoom in here just in case you're confused as to this. So you've got this small cable and it's going with these pins pointing that way. And if you're really in doubt, eyeball the sockets because you'll see the metal contacts for them. This one is the opposite with the blue to the right, like so. And if you get your RF module, wherever that's gone. Here we go. The RF module, you can't go wrong because it just goes literally straight down there, and it's going blue part towards the back of the chassis. And while I was at it, last time I had this open, I did measure across the power regulators. There's a little regulator on your right, which I'll show you right now again. That's your 1.8 volts regulator, that's your 3V3. I believe the center pin is your power out, so it's easy enough to probe. And then of course you've got this Molex. The pin nearest me, this red one's 12 volts, and the wire and pin furthest at the back of the chassis is 5 volts. So you should be measuring all those standard voltages when you're playing with this. There you go, see, that's nice, isn't it? Back in. What is next? Right, I think we can just pop that lid on. Again, mine is damaged here a little bit, these pins, so that's because I didn't know what I was doing in the same way as I do now. So when you put this in, you want to slide it straight down. There's no opportunity for any sideways movement, so that's why it's good to take that front panel off totally, because you can align this bit as you're pushing it down. And when it's going right, you'll feel it just goes and sits. If it's wrong, it'll be kind of springy, and as you squeeze it like this, you'll feel it's creaking. But now it's sat nicely. I wish I'd known that before, but it doesn't really make too much of a difference if you break a few of those tabs, to be honest. It's just nice not to break something, isn't it? If the manufacturer wanted them broken, well, actually, I'm pretty sure they might have. They don't really want you going in here. They're not forthcoming with the deets on these machines. Someone said they had a schematic available, but I really strongly doubt it. But you know, you never know. You might have got lucky. I guess if this ever does go faulty, your best bet is just to change all the capacitors. That's the usual standard response for most things. There, so that's good. That's good. It's all looking quite nice. You've got everything lining up. So I'm going to put it on its regular way round again. I'm going to pull this drive out because I definitely don't want that to pop back in while I'm messing around with these things. And in fact, let me turn it this way. What I'll do is I'm going to take this panel, I'm going to just push it over, and I'm just going to take a bit of care around this region. Now, it's probably better if you can to slot the bottom in first like that, so then the top is the final clip on, so then you can test your buttons and they're all doing what they should. And then I'm going to take this and slide this on a bit cautiously. You don't want it to break anything. Oh, there we go, that's sitting quite nicely, looks legitimate, and you'll know it is because when you do that, donk, perfection. So that is how you get into one of these and how you change the DVD drive. As ever, like, share, subscribe, and thank you for watching.